him, but not like with him. Like, you know, videos talking about him.
So none of his Bohemian Grove stuff that used to be up on YouTube. None of the 9/11 stuff. All that stuff's off the internet.
It's going. The only way it will be on there is if it's a video disproving or like discrediting it, pretty much.
I've heard that YouTube's doing this shit now where they're going back and taking down like Tower 7 videos. They're going back and they're taking down lots of other like counter mainstream story videos. I wonder if they took Zeitgeist off the internet.
No, Zeitgeist says you can buy it on YouTube. It's so weird.
It used to be free on YouTube.
Yeah. But I mean, it probably is. But like, you know how YouTube movies? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can definitely get Zeitgeist on YouTube movies. But anything old David Icke, gone. Remember all those Satan Saturn fucking videos that he used to post? And like,
really?
Oh, dude, I went on it the other day. I found that Satan Saturn one, but it was posted the day that I went on to look at it. And then the comments were, "Thank you for reposting. I saw this got deleted." But it's like a fucking bootleg version, you know? Like, it's not like an HD version. I'm like, damn, bro. YouTube's really changed, dude. Like, all that stuff, you know, all those crazy things you used to, like, get deep into in YouTube, like, the things that you thought were, like, kind of real and shit, like, those things are all gone. Like, it's all just, like, really dumb UFO videos now. And, like, you said, like, those 3 fucking Alex Jones videos, maybe more, you know?
Wait,
like,
for real? So all the Anunnaki stuff and all the Zachariah Sitchin stuff, the Emerald Tablet stuff, the Thoth stuff?
I don't know how much of it's actually there. It might be stuff that the History Channel, the Ancient Alien stuff is probably there from the History Channel and stuff, but I don't know about, like, independent researchers, like, with their long 6-hour videos.
Merkaba's gone?
No, Merkaba's still there, but Merkaba he's been dealing with it. In his videos, he talks about how he's been dealing with it. Like, his videos he's had videos taken down. Like,
damn, bro.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube's really trying to control what people can and can't say. And since they're bigger than any television, you know what I mean?
They
so
are
if
TV
they're
now, dude.
If they're trying to control shit, then it's going to shape the minds of everyone, what you can and cannot find. And what they were saying in the video, that's one of the things that they said in the old Alex Jones interview with Joe and Eddie that I kind of like skipped over when I heard it last year, was they were talking about how they were taking everything off YouTube, even back then, which they weren't nearly as successful then as they are now with taking everything off the internet.
Yep.
But all the YouTube alien videos where it's like UFO sightings and all that stuff is going crazy, but then everything else is like not promoted as heavily.
What?
Like they were saying, like if you're trying to fit the narrative of aliens from outer space and flying saucers and all that, then those videos
will stay out. Okay,
really good.
But other things about like the elite and stuff like that would be
elite,
like,
like what Alex was talking about, like the interdimensional aliens or aliens coming from
Clockwork
our own
Elves and
planet,
shit. Yeah,
because they're inside the Earth or any of that type of shit. But you know what? That after school video that me and Yamina watched with the Antarctica and stuff, and then the Above Majestic talks about that. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they can't get everything.
Yeah.
There's so many videos on YouTube.
There's a lot, but then like. There, you have to keep some, like, you know, like you said, that after school video had some cool stuff, but it also had some like speculative like type information, you know. So like if you keep like, that's the thing about Gaia. Like I love Gaia, but at the same time, like, you know, like it's still ran by a big, you know, like by a bigger hand, you know. So like just like the History Channel, you know, like
it's like trying to get a smoothie bowl at a place that doesn't have organic fruit.
Everbowl, right? Or something like that. No, you know,
I'm
actually
not gonna leave that name in there, but yeah.
Okay.
Just because I actually have friends that work at Everbowl.
Oh, well, I remember talking shit, but fuck.
I mean, I kind of was.
Okay.
I was comparing it to.
All right. Oh yeah, we're cutting that.
I was actually gonna say Beach City, but
yeah, same for whatever. But yeah. It's like that.
It is like that, bro. It's scary to think that it's like that. And it's scary to think that they would really try to, like... And I don't know if this is true, but it feels like it is. That they would pay someone to, like, give you information that seems like it would be mostly true, that would seem like they were advocating your side just to, like, lead you astray. You know what I mean? Like, give you a little bit of the truth and a lot of not truth, and then they're campaigning like they're on your side, but they never get anywhere, and they're your leader, so you look up to them, but in reality, they're like a controlled opposition, you know?
That it's fucking crazy to think about. But one thing I did realize, though, when you like break everything down to its core, is there what we've talked about before. There's professionals for everything in the world, right? And the people that run those professionals have been doing this, and it's been a pass down, and this new skill that gets learned gets put into a certain category, and then that's the way the professionals teach it every single time, until something is changed, and like that's the way, that's the new order of things. But who's to say that these people haven't been doing, like that they haven't figured out philosophy 8,000 years ago, and they've been slowly putting out a little bit of it, and like slowly putting, like, and figured out all the mathematics a long ass time ago, and like,
totally possible.
You feel me? Like, it's just crazy that, like, there are all these aspects that we think that we're just discovering, but these fools could literally know every single part of it and be the professionals that, let the information out. And it's just crazy to think, because we're only going off the paper. Like, even, I think, what's it called? We're going to get into it in the David Icke or whatever, but, like, even hospitals go by what their boss, like, whoever's working in the hospital just goes by what their boss, their higher up tells them. Like, the doctor doesn't come in and just have a plan to heal all of his patients. He goes by the book. There's a book that he had to go to school for fucking who knows how long to know, to go by these guidebooks to do these certain things. It's not like he's doing alternative medicine. Like he like studies herbs and figures out that this herb, like, he studies Dr. Sebi and realizes that this herb can actually cure cancer. Then he starts using it in the hospital. Like, he can't do that. Like, he has to follow the medical guidelines. So it's just, that's a trip, And
isn't it crazy also that the limitations of the human mind or the expansion of the human mind all has to do with what you know in that moment is possible? Mm-hmm. Like, the second someone drops a knowledge bomb on you and you know something new is possible, it literally opens up your entire world and, like, all the possibilities change.
It's like if someone was dying from choking and no one knew about the Heimlich maneuver or something like that, and then someone came into the room and was like, why aren't you guys doing this? And, like, fucking saved them. Yeah, and everyone was like,
everyone's life is now completely leveled up and changed.
Mm-hmm. That's like, like, he literally made a new, what is it called? The many worlds? Made a new universe for every single person. Like, now they know that, like, you can save somebody by fucking doing that technique.
And just like that, what you're saying with, like, the new technique, all the information that we know right now has always been here. Mm-hmm. Every computer was possible to make. Every camera was possible to create. Every spaceship, the plans were already laid out.
And that's not even speculative, that's real. Yeah, exactly.
We figured it out.
Exactly.
And that means it could have been figured out at any point in time.
Because
it was here already.
It was here already. I was reading about this in the last part of that hidden reality video, bro. It's like about the holographic universe, that it's like if all the possibilities were already put into the universe, and then it's just our responsibility or what we're doing in this, like, in our blink of the time. We're
just shaking out a bag of Legos and constructing our universe in whatever way this timeline sees fit.
Mm-hmm. Because everything and anything is potentially possible with the, potential amount of mathematical equations out there. But like you said, it's only from perspective, like, unless you're taught it or unless you figure it out, you're never even going to know it even exists.
Bro, I just blew my own mind with what you said right now. Check this out. Okay, so you know how I said we have a bag of, I almost said black. Okay.
A bag of Legos.
A bag of Legos.
Yep.
So what if the way that each universe operates has to do with the way the universe was constructed originally? Now, follow my train of thought.
Okay.
So let's say you have a bag of Legos and you're trying to build a certain structure. Well, if you build a pyramid, well, then the operations of that universe can only exist within the realm of what's possible in that pyramid. But the Legos that you started to make that pyramid with, you could have made an H shape out of it, and then that universe would have operated under the H shape. So all the possibilities were infinite in the beginning, but whichever way the universe started to form and started to create, you created a set of rules, and they're non-reversible because you've already created this structure. You can't take the pyramid down once you've created it because it took billions of years to get it there. So all those rules that formed within the pyramid are unique to that version of the universe that you just created.
Good. Okay, so that's crazy because that's exactly what quantum physicists fucking speculate, bro. Like, literally, like, and like you said, anything is possible in these realms of universes.
Until you create something that makes something not possible anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
But the thing about that I want to add on is that the reason that maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with going back, but with you. Okay, so we form the pyramid, so now that consciousness is there. You form that pathway, So you can never not form that pathway. There's always room for a different type of pathway, a neuron to be formed, But in that universe that you decided to take that pathway, that is the pathway.
That is the pathway, and you can't go into the pathway that would have been the H universe's pathway
because you
started a pyramid.
Exactly. That
Or wait, what if the key to unlocking the universe is learning, okay, this linear movement or pathway that we created that started this universe is actually not real at all, and then we learn how to completely bypass physical reality.
That
would be like the next step.
That's on some Egyptian or like some quantum or what is it, metaphysical type. That's like the teaching of the metaphysics, pretty much like Hermetic teachings, Egyptian teachings, like anything to do with that metaphysical. They teach you like to master the angles of light to become an angel. Like that's like the wordplay with there would be like to master the angles of light. So then you wouldn't be subjected to up, down, left, right. You would be up, down, left, right. You would be the light. You would be the consciousness, which we already are. We just haven't figured out how to unlock it.
Have I ever told you about another crazy idea I had?
I don't know. Maybe.
So think about what the internet is. Think about how many different ideas and theories live on the internet. Now, imagine how many consciousnesses exist in the plane that we currently operate in, and how many different realities are unlocking in each of these people's consciousnesses every time they take a breath, wake up, choose a different life path. Okay. Now, multiply that by how many different ways people think about the universe. Okay. Now, put that all on the internet.
Okay.
Now, think about it like every single one of those different things are true in a different time stream. Meaning, like, okay, the Anunnaki is true, flat Earth is true.
Yeah.
The interdimensional alien theory is true. Okay. Hollow Earth is true. Water space is true. Like, all these things are operating, and they're all created at the same time. And because each of the 8 billion humans on this fucking realm can't interface with each other all at once, and we don't know how many other consciousnesses are out there in the galaxy, the internet is a way for people that aren't even in the same dimension to tell each other about their time streams. What if the people that are in different areas of the world right now actually are from a different time stream, and the internet actually interfaces with those people in a way that we would never be able to do in real life? Or what if the internet can allow us to interface with people in different fucking a different dimension, and we can access them through the internet? And They're actually telling their truth, because in their world that the internet like links them with us to, that's what happened.
Dude, okay. So to add on to that, if we go back, or like if we're talking about ancient societies being able to consciously do that, not needing writing because they were passing that down things verbally, and like all the consciousness was a collective consciousness, and we lost that, and our new way of doing it is through the internet, because consciousness will always find a way. It's a magnetic attraction. Yeah, exactly. So like you said, the internet was just the what is it, like the fucking wire, like the connection, like the propulsion almost, because your consciousness is looking, it's constantly trying to attract those vibrations, but until you center it and find someone that like thinks that has that attraction, then you're kind of just like either lost or you're in your own little universe,
Yeah.
And then you would go find someone on the interdimensional that agrees with you, and then that would create a connection that would ultimately create a universe, world, consciousness of itself,
And what if you never linked up with that person, and they were actually never in your reality until you linked up with them, and then it created a bridge that brought them into your reality?
Exactly, dude. This is what me and Babe were talking about the other day, because I was thinking about it, like really, really, like it was stuck in my head. That whole saying about if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, do you hear it, or does a sound get made? Is there a sound? And that applies to the whole world, because I was with City Boy Ghost the other day. And his line was, the world keeps spinning, even without me, with or without me, the world keeps spinning, or something like that. It was a line like that. And I was like, damn, but think about it. It doesn't. When you die, or when your consciousness ceases to exist, either you're going to get sucked in and reincarnated or put into the inner energy, and then you're going to, do whatever you need to do, or if your energy literally dies and the world isn't spinning, because you created, you're literally creating your world. You're creating everything around you. Like you said, you created that connection, which opened the door to that person even being in existence in your life.
But I was actually trying to theorize, what if that person never really existed and the internet, you interfacing with this person over the internet, actually brought them into the dimension? Like, if you had never interfaced with them on the internet, what if someone could, like, be a god in your life, like, omnipotently looking at your life and, like, looked for that person if you guys had never connected and didn't find them because you needed the internet to form that connection and bridge the gaps between the dimensions? Mm-hmm. I was just being crazy.
But but I'm saying that consciousness ultimately decides, or your consciousness, decides if the world is spinning or not, or like whatever is possible, if you die and you're not on this world anymore and you never see the world ever again, and say you have full consciousness and you go into a different dimension, different fucking realm of consciousness, then
if you're not there to observe it, it's not operating the way it used to.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not the world, Yeah. It's literally not, because you aren't there to observe it and to use your senses, your brain to decipher those.
Bro, we're crazy, bro. we need Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say, what you were just saying reminded me of what I heard Elon saying on this podcast I was just watching. And he's talking about how we think at a rate of like 100 megabits per second. And that if we were, or 1 mega, he said some really low number of some sort of bit. Okay. And then he said the AI fusion that he's trying to do with the Neuralink, or possibly fusing brain AI in the future, would allow a person to think at the rate of a terabit per second.
Is that faster than
that's 1,000 gigabytes. That's
okay. I know, but what are we
megabytes? No, it's not. I don't know how many megabytes. I'm not that smart.
No, but anyway, what way do you say that? Where you're thinking on? It's a way less number, or it's a smaller.
It's probably like a millionth of the speed of what a computer can transfer information and process it at. Like when we're going from thumb to phone versus just thinking in at the rate of a terabyte. A terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. You know, with your hard drive, how many fucking music projects you'd have to make to fill up that terabyte. You know what I'm saying? So if you could think like that at the rate that he's thinking at, or he's thinking at the rate that he's thinking humans could think at, it would dwarf how we're doing things right now.
Exactly.
Like we would literally not even speak to each other.
Exactly, bro. And that all comes with, what is language even to begin with? It's only to interpret the things around us so we can communicate it with the next whatever.
It's a middleman.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And what is middlemen always can get cut out no matter what the situation is, and that always leads to an advancement in anything, dude. Like, anytime the middleman gets cut out, then you're fucking, that's when the advancements start getting made.
So do you think that when our brain does fuse with AI, that it's going to take us out of the real world or bring us into a realer world?
Shit, I mean, I don't know. I would say that people that are of the mystics and nature and of tribal descent would probably say that was not the way. That's definitely leading us away from nature. But at the same time,
what if it is nature though?
Yeah, here's what I'm getting into. Humans are nature, so whatever we create at the end of the day is a product of nature. So it's hard to even argue that anything we're doing is bad, at the end of the day, because humans are all here to do whatever they deem right, because we ultimately all rule this world, so, I mean, it's all cool, it's all fine and dandy for us to, think a certain way, and, for you not to kill a nigga, to do, things a certain way, but, at the end of the day, you have your own thoughts, you want to fucking be working on something that I necessarily don't want to be working on, or vice versa, and Elon Musk is on a whole other level working on something because of his consciousness and the way he thinks, no matter if he's part of the elite, no matter if Bill Gates, no matter if any of these people are part of it, it's the fact that they have an individual person is that they can actually fucking,
bro, we're jonesing it right now. Anytime we start to do this now, I'm gonna just say we're jonesing it. Because, we're bouncing our ideas off each other so fast, and we understand what we're saying.
Exactly.
So it's I get where you're going with that. I don't know if the person listening got where you went with that, but I got it.
I don't know where I went with it, but I mean,
I got it. I understood.
Yeah,
ultimately, it is all natural.
Oh yeah, okay. That's ultimately, yeah, exactly. Humans are natural, so. Yeah, exactly. So you can say that cell phones are natural. You can say that books are natural because a product of the earth is what created more. And we use earth materials. No matter if we synthesized it or anything like that, it came from space. We never humans have never actually created anything. Like you said, they've used the materials around us to figure out exactly
what already existed.
all cars are is a fucking a tiny explosion over and over and over to propel, more things inside of that engine to make the wheels just like spin. That's all it is. It's not like a magic fucking. It's not just you press the pedal and then the wheels magically spin, because there's like fucking like there's a lot of like intricacy that goes into it. But at the end of the day, it's like it can be explained like with
a car could have existed in the year one if you had showed them the equations and taught them how to do it. It could have existed then. But the craziest part about the nature thing that you're saying is, Robert Schoch has this theory about solar flares being able to like completely turn off the electric grid. What if we were able to find a way to make technology so advanced and so organic that we kept the speed that the computers gave us without the problems that a solar flare or some sort of cataclysmic event would cause by destroying the internet and destroying technology?
Yeah, that's another thing too. Technology's only as bad as we make it, like if we found alternatives to make these computers that are made from natural, resources that aren't taking from
electricity,
or from fossil fuels or whatever we have to use that like they say are destroying the earth. Because I don't know, like we really don't know if the fossil fuel thing is real, like we like to believe that like we're making an effect on like the ozone layer, and like that over time we've like did you hear that like the ozone layer hole actually closed up because like we've supposedly stopped being so polluted, like like humans have stopped polluting the air as much. Like I don't know if you've heard that
since the corona.
I think so.
Damn,
yeah,
that's crazy.
But that's all studies that get put out that we just read real quick. Like I didn't go do an extensive fucking research paper on fucking the ozone layer and shit like that. So it's like
that's why being so compartmentalized as a human race is good, because we get more things done, but it's also a downfall because we don't trust each other, and our society has been created so that we don't trust each other. And it's like we're supposed to trust the people that are at the top of their fields, but even then there's like a shadow of doubt and a grain of salt, and science ridicules each other and like all that. So it's like really hard to create progress because it's all bureaucratic,
That's a perfect word, exactly. Bureaucratic, bro. But I don't know. It's like we can either go everything natural. Technology could be as natural as it could be meditating, and fucking your mind could literally, you could levitate while probably with your mind, at the end of the day, it's all electrical signals, so like anything is in the realm of possibility. So like to deem AI the fall of human beings is like kind of, I don't know, kind of stupid to me in my opinion.
It's the merging of us with something that we created.
Which would be kind of like the Anunnaki story, right?
Yep. We are the beings that created a new being. And even though that being isn't the same as us, and it doesn't operate under the same rules as us, at some point it will give itself its own sentience as it advances and becomes smarter and learns more and separates itself from our control. And at that point, how do we differentiate whether or not it gets a right to live or not if it thinks it has the right to live? You know what I'm saying? And if it's smarter than us, we're fucked. Or we're not. It really depends.
Yeah.
But we've all seen the horror stories of an AI being like, y'all are stupid. You run your shit based on emotions. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to wipe y'all out.
But, okay, here's an even trippier concept, bro. Like, that movie Prometheus?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, shit, that movie's crazy,
Yeah, that movie's crazy. Okay, but there, I watched this little video on this dude that actually read the script and some of the scenes that didn't get put in the fucking video. And, fucking apparently they're called architects, right? They're like they are
the Anunnaki.
Yeah, the Anunnaki or whatever. Apparently they wanted their race was, they came to Earth and they couldn't sexually produce anymore because they had reached such an advanced state of consciousness that
they were asexual. Pretty
much, they didn't. But they couldn't produce. So that was the problem with. That's why they created, pretty much why they created the human race, or like mix the DNA or whatever, because they needed species that would have sexual reproduction so they could continue on that consciousness, just like because their consciousness was put into us, pretty much, or whatever, our human race. So it'd just be consciousness continuing.
Their advancements, their advanced spirituality led to a point where they can no longer have sex and reproduce, meaning that their race would end.
Exactly.
So they had to create a new race so that their ideas could live on, That's crazy.
Um,
I guess we should get into Ick because if
yeah,
we
because
don't get into
we're
him
never
now,
gonna get into
get
him.
into
I know. And that this is a whole dude. This is about to be so long too, and I don't even have look. This I have all that, and like this is only like.
I'm gonna let you
yeah.
tell me stuff, and then we'll turn it
Okay.
into some sort of weird
All
conversation.
right. So this dude, Rose, did you hear what he said in the beginning of the podcast about how he did 2 interviews with Ick prior to this third one that I sent you, and that they were taken down from YouTube and from every other major platform.
Damn, that's fucking crazy. You were telling me about that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
So yeah, this guy, he is a independent broadcaster. He's kind of like a Joe Rogan almost, like not necessarily Joe Rogan, but like in the realm of he interviews bigger names and like gets behind the truth of a lot of things. He's a really well known dude, bro. But he got taken down. Like he pretty much got subjected to the Alex Jones, David Icke fucking disease, bro. So he got taken off of pretty much everything YouTube, or he's on YouTube now, but like a lot of his main videos got taken off YouTube, LinkedIn, like wherever he streams off of. I think he was using a third party platform before he made his own website. Yeah, and fucking that got taken down. He said he had business relationships with with like a lot of these top companies, and he's like really confused. He's like, what the fuck? So that's why he had Icke on again, made his own streaming platform, and released this video and talked about how he's just so confused and he's never thought that would happen. Like that this type of thing would ever happen to him because he's kind of on that boat of like Icke and those kind of guys kind of being conspiracy theorists like a little bit.
Yeah.
But that
he just brings people on to talk about ideas.
Yeah, and now he's kind of being like kind of shook his head a little bit. He's like, I'm gonna have this guy back on. Like, whoa, I don't know if all this is really conspiracy. Like a lot of it has a lot of truth behind it, or maybe not even really truth, but like backing behind it. That it's just like it's kind of.
And they would tell you that they took it down because it doesn't follow what authoritative sources would say is true.
Dude, and then when you go look up this now, the first video that comes up is fact check Rose versus Icke, and you watch it, bro, and it's crazy. Like it's this dude that like literally says that David Icke said this and this is false, like false, like with a big ass false, and it goes into like what he did. It's weird because it really takes little snippets of a tiny thing that he said that without context you obviously would think he said something weird, but like they literally do that thing where they put like a tiny segment of a sentence and be like he said that da 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 da, like I can't come up with a specific instance, but and then you go look at the comments are like this is all propaganda, bro. Like
I don't really ever see any people debating people like him for real. Like I've never even on the Rogan and Jones podcast when they're trying to get Alex to prove stuff, they never really disproved him. So it'd be really interesting to see someone that feels like they could actually disprove someone like Alex Jones or someone like David Icke have an actual open-minded, reasonable conversation where they're not getting mad because you're questioning their narrative. You know what I mean? Because people get mad, they get upset, they get emotionally charged up and want to like I don't know.
Well, we're dealing with the ultimate reality of human being,
They want to conversationally strangulate you.
Exactly. And I think that's one of their problems, like that Icke and fucking Jones have. Dude, we might even get this video taken down. I swear, like, if you even talk about these fools, you get taken down. But that's a problem that they do have is they never do get the type of, they never get to have a debate with, like, some of these main people. So now that's why it's just over it, and he's over here calling Bill Gates literally a psychopath on this fucking.
Whoa, really?
Yes, dude. And so it's just like he said it like 5 times. Like the shit was crazy, bro. Like he was literally saying like we have to get rid of I don't know what he said. He said if you're letting that psychopath Bill Gates give us vaccines and we're all fucked or something like that. But it's just like he literally just says it now, and he says like
he doesn't give a fuck.
No, because he's actually been threatened, like people are pulled up to his house with guns and shit, and like
I don't doubt it, bro. Mm-hmm. If they can false flag stage events, if they can put out all this misinformation, use fucking psychedelic drugs to figure out how to make Manchurian candidates and make people suggestible, use 5G to scramble DNA and make you confused. If they can do all these different things or not do all these different things or even put information out that's not true to get you thinking they're doing something so that they can get another agenda across. If they can do all these different things or not do any of it at all, but it all exists in the realm of possibility, then they're fucking evil geniuses, bro.
Exactly. And here's the weird part. Remember when we were talking about Alex Jones the other day, and you're like, well, that folk or whoever, David Icke or Alex Jones, they could just be a part. They could be one of the fucking reptilians or whatever the fuck, and just be the plant that has to like kind of tell us a different type of plan that when they're actually doing something else, but they're really part of like that, the part of the plan as well. But it's like, why is anyone even putting any type of information about reptilians and secret societies, the fucking deep state? Why is that information even speculated? Like why is it speculated? I get people are paranoid, yes, but like the government, all they have to do is come out and say that all this, like all Trump would literally have to come out on a fucking Instagram post or whatever, whatever social media post you want to do and say, draconians are not real. Stop talking about this fake fucking conspiracy theories, like, and address all the conspiracies that are against certain people and clear it up, because that's what's so hard about that, like what is so hard about that?
They can't clear it up because there's so much dirt on so many different people that they have in high-ranking places, so that they don't talk about the inner workings that they're all involved in together. Forget adrenochrome and forget pedophilia and forget all that. They do weird things to get control over other governments. Like the CIA goes and assassinates leaders of countries so that America can gain influence. They do illegal things all the time in the name of American imperialism. This is all shit that we have on public document.
That's what I'm saying.
It's shit that we have speculated. There's shit that we do and don't know about. And we can never know all of the truth all at once because it's probably not even remembered by a lot of people anymore. Like things that were happening 300 years ago. Like if someone, like if you can look at it in a smaller level, if someone, for instance, at your school can tell a white lie about something that happened at that school, and then that white lie gets passed on, and people believe that that's what happened
in a different school, bro,
20 years ago, but it never even happened like that. But there's no one that could even tell you the truth about what happened anymore.
Exactly.
That's the history.
Exactly.
And that's what you're going off when you're creating like your new ways of doing things. You're looking back at a precedent that was never even true in the first place to create a precedent in the future. It's like, how can you even, like, that's why it, like you said, and Ick says that it's all at the root of it. If it's rooted in love, then it has to do something with the truth. And that's all that really matters, because you can't even track what truth is.
Exactly. Besides love, that's why it's has to be based on these certain emotions and these type of feelings, because that's the only way to feel truth. Like when you're speculating or you have an opinion on something, it's not in your heart, if that makes sense. That's just something that you can say that you might believe in or you might not believe in, but when you truly believe in something, it comes from your heart, like. And that's the difference between whatever people speculate and whatever people don't. But I'm just saying, like, it's like, even if the information is wrong or whatever the fact, whatever the fact, if we forgot what actually happened 300 years ago or anything like that, like, why can't we clear, like, and I know, like, you answered why we can't clear it up, and I know it's a rhetorical question why we can't clear it up. It's obvious there's a bunch of random shit going on, but it's like, if that can be speculated, if we can prove some of this stuff, then what's the problem? Like, that something's going on, like, let's fucking get with the program and fucking let's do something about it. Let's not all sit around and be like, oh, no, like, it's like,
because that's not a world that they can control, bro.
I know, and
you
like,
can't control people that think the way that we think.
And nobody else, when I talk to people on a regular basis, they don't even come close to scratching the surface, bro. And I don't even want to say that to seem like I'm some kind of genius or like anything stupid like that. It's more of like if you could think the way I thought, or maybe even in the same realm of openness, then it would be easier for you to like when I hear people question like, damn, why is this the way this is, and da-da-da-da, and I'd be like, well, if you understand energy, then you wouldn't even have to question that, it would just be, you would understand why
it's working that way.
Literally the way things are, and that's like one of the like main reasons I get into debates or even anything with anybody. I'll be like, well, once you start getting into the realm of understanding energy, you'll literally understand that, like,
oh, but that's just your opinion.
I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But no, but it's like, yeah, it is my opinion, but like, it makes life a hell of a lot easier for me to like exist in this realm, if I have that opinion and I fucking can ride with the wave as opposed to go away from it when like, you know, when it fits me and shit like that. It's
exactly,
like,
bro. They tell history based on what fits in a narrative. So if it doesn't fit in a narrative, it doesn't get written down in history. You know, it would be like different if someone could scribe literally every important happening in the world, whether it makes a certain side look good or look bad, and then you also write down what both sides learned from it, and it's like every side or group or faction or person or individual that is important enough to be written in that log actually had to set a new intention, and then the person that was described had to go back to that important group, person, or whatever, and like see where their progresses was at. And no one actually got judged for their mistakes and their failings. They actually got praised for trying new things and setting new intentions and getting better. And then we actually had an accurate log of love and progression from history, time and time. Even if there was wars, even if there was beefs, even if there was anything, it's like both sides.
But to know the ultimate sides of both, yeah, would be
the
a
ugly
fact.
and
Yeah,
the positive
exactly.
on both sides, so we could really look at each other with nuance and like understand each other beyond you're on my team and you're not on my team. You know what I mean? Because that's really how people look at each other. Like,
Yeah.
team black, team white, team
Exactly.
Asia, team America, team South, team North, like team West, team like it's all bullshit.
Bro.
It's literally all bullshit.
Oceanside Carls, like any, you know, like literally from fucking one city to the next city, a block to block, bro. You know, like it's literally just a division for no reason, dude. No reason. But yeah, it's just it's crazy just to think about that. These like when you think about things in terms of energy, you kind of like all this reality kind of disappears, but it's, you know, it's still here. I still care about reality. You know, I still want to make money. I still want to be a successful person. You know, I still have aspirations of doing things in the real world. But at the same time, I understand that it's a propulsion of the way I do things in the real world that are going to ultimately decipher what happens in the real world, you know? So if I don't have a clear mindset of how I'm going to do things or why things are the way they are, or at least in my head, then how am I ever even going to progress that way, you know? So it's like...
Exactly, because you're intrinsically that valuable where you know how like you struggle, it's like, why I gotta get up and do that? It's because you intrinsically know your value. You know that you're a part of the divine and the everlasting oneness.
And what happens when you don't get up and do that? You feel like shit for the next, like, you know, for a way...
in the real world. Mm-hmm. Because if you didn't care about the real world, then you might as well just end the life that you're in now, because you're always a part of that oneness and you just don't feel it when you're here right now. I mean, you do in moments feel it, but like your role here is not to be that.
That's my debate with like fucking people that, you know, when I get into just spirituality, information, and just like if the soul even exists. Like I don't even have to get into if a soul exists. You can get into the duality of a person having an energetic and a physical being in itself, you know, like the physical couldn't react without the energetic and vice versa, you know, like our physical being can't manifest obviously without this body in terms of what we know. And our body can't move without the thoughts that are happening in our brain first, you know? Like, so it's like, there's obviously...
Or the signal that gets sent to our body.
Yeah, so that, yeah. But there's an electric, you know, there's electricity behind that. There's something besides physical, you know? Mm-hmm. So
because if we really just were like robots, bro, then we would be nothing more than a computer that had to wait for its next update or its next code or its next mission to get activated.
But your update happens whenever you make the conscious decision to do it. Yeah, bro. Anyway, so we'll get back into David
Icky.
Even though, you know, it's cool. All of this has to tie in with each other. His ultimate message at the end was love, you know. So all this in between is kind of just information that you can take with a, you know, a grain of salt. You can call it conspiracy, but he literally just lays down what he's heard or what, you know, like what is in the mainstream media, and then people, like, you know, take it for what it is. But have you heard of like the COVID deaths being so even if someone dies of something besides COVID, then they'll write COVID on the death certificate
if they had it in their system?
If COVID was like a part of it.
So if they had some sort of condition that was either activated before or after COVID, if COVID wasn't the direct cause but was related to it, they're going to call it a COVID death.
Yes.
Yeah.
It even went far. I don't know if this is necessarily true, but he went as far to say that even if you fell down the stairs but had COVID, they would name it a COVID. Like he he said like it was even going that far. But I can't back that
that's
up. But like,
fucking-
damn, like yeah.
This person died with COVID in their system.
So that's where they can get the numbers from, supposedly, like, and he's saying that the numbers would be, what I've heard a lot too is that the numbers would be somewhere around like, flu or like around like the pneumonia numbers that we usually see. But when you start adding and
All those other things.
And the numbers of other deaths incidentally have gone down, so like it's just a weird coincidence.
Well, yeah, you're going to die less if you're not on the road as much. You're going to die less if you're not going out as much. People go out and, like, they die every day doing certain things. You can get statistics on how many people die walking down their street every day. You can get statistics on how many people die walking in the mall every day. Like, people die every day.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy? But if you can slap COVID on it, then you can get a fucking crazy number.
And scare a shitload of people.
Scare a shitload of people.
And make them not want to touch each other, go within 6 feet of each other. What does that do?
Dude. And then what Francisco was telling me the other day is like, it doesn't even matter because you can contract it through your eyes if COVID, if COVID is like what they say it is, COVID-19, then like you can contract it through your eyes, and we all need to be wearing goggles anyway. So I was like, damn, son. So like,
it's just making people feel better.
What if next week we all have to start wearing goggles, bro? Like, fuck, dude. I walked into this store the other day and this lady let me get all my stuff, bro. I didn't have a mask on. She said hi to me and everything. I put the fucking stuff on the counter and she said, "Do you have a mask?" I was like, "It's in my car." And she's like, "Can you go get it? I can't ring this up unless you have a mask." And I was like,
so
"Damn,
what happened
son."
To all the time that I was in the store without the mask on, you don't think that infected anyone? If you think I'm infected, then you should have told my ass the second I walked in the door.
I know. Just like, whatever, bro. Like, this is bull. Not saying COVID's bull, but just the whole situation. Everybody knows it, like, fuck it, dude. Like, not fuck it as in everyone just go back to normal, even though that would be cool. But, like, fuck it as in, like, fuck this whole situation, He said, the freedom of speech is being compromised, mass human perception. David claims the authorities are overreacting and not acting accordingly. When you break down the number of people behind the lockdown is tiny, but the control of 8 million, but they control 8 million. So basically, like, the public is way larger, in number than obviously the elite, but with the control of perception, you can get 8 million people or however many people are in the world to just, abide by these certain rules. And it's like,
especially if they think they're helping out people, which is what you get them to do. You think you're helping out your older family. You think you're helping out immunely compromised people. And there's a certain amount of people that aren't even in those categories that are scared anyway.
Mm-hmm. Real scared.
Freak them out. Make them stay at home by themselves. Don't go outside.
Yeah.
Stay home. Stay safe.
So, what do you say? Okay, so remember what I was telling you? I don't remember if I did tell you last time, but how the essential workers is a term from like even Nazi Germany.
Really?
Yeah, like back in Nazi Germany, they were using the term essential workers to differentiate, like the people that could work during the Holocaust and who couldn't.
Then the Holocaust was a whole COVID-19 style event.
That's exactly what, like, David Icke literally says that we're living in a global version of Nazi Germany. Like, that's what he called it. I was like, damn, dude. Those are bold statements, dude. Like,
that's a pretty fat-ass statement right there.
Holy shit. And then, okay. So, control starts at a central and trickles down to billions. Yeah, what I was talking about. It's why people can, in a society controlled by technology. Okay, so so he's saying that they want to have a society controlled by technology, which he calls a technocracy. And
shit.
What he says that he's been saying that he's been writing this in his books for years, bro. Like, this isn't some new shit. So he's kind of just like, he's the fucking he's Kermit the Frog with the teacup, like none of my business that I put this in my book fucking 5 years ago and shit, So it's interesting that I thought David Icke was done too, bro. Like, and like I don't agree with everything he says, and it's all up in the air, obviously. But it's like a lot of his shit. When he got to the end, he talked about love. I'm like, well, how are you gonna fucking disagree with that? Like that's pretty fucking spot on. But it's one of those things where like I thought he was gonna be done because a lot of people, bashed him. A lot of people don't fuck with that fool. Like he said, he's had fucking people come up on him with guns and shit like that. But the fact that he keeps going, bro, there's an energy behind that, you know, that I fuck with. Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's like no matter all the slander, you know, like I could literally write him off as a conspiracy theorist and never hear anything he wants to say it again, but it's not going to stop him, you know, it's not going to stop what he's trying to put out.
Can't stop truth.
And that's what he said. And it's crazy because, like, it's almost like if a person wasn't speaking truth and they got slandered so much and they stopped, you could be like, all right, yeah, see, exactly, like, that shit's bullshit, you know? But, like, the fact that he keeps going until I think he's going to go until he dies, and I think he's one of those soldiers, bro.
Don't respect it. Mm-hmm. It's like, why would this person want to put themselves in the public eye with so much ridicule? For what reason?
Exactly,
For
bro.
what reason would you want to be stalked by CIA, FBI, foreign national intelligence agencies, clandestine operations, MI6, the Mossad? Like, why would you want people like that to have you on their radar? Like, why? Why would you want that? Like, you start talking about the wrong things and getting a certain amount of people together to talk about those things, and now you're on.
You can get killed, bro, or like,
Exactly.
dude. Look what happened to Osama, or like, you know, any of the terrorists that were like conspiring against the American government. You know, like, big air quotes, because, you know, that's all up in the air too. But like,
yeah, but if you're gonna fuck up their money or fuck up their control, that's the same shit as blowing up a building.
But I'm saying, like, look what happened, and then they got fucking killed. So like, these fools know how these guys run. You know, it's a big gang. You know, like, they know how they're running. So it's like, for them not to be scared is fucking, yeah, there's a power to it, bro. There really is. And so weird. Like, I don't understand the whole relationship between Alex and Trump, but that's such a weird fucking
In
relationship.
2019, when they did that podcast with Rogan, he didn't really talk that highly of Trump. Now that I look back at it, he was actually talking more about how he was supporting Trump in the beginning of the campaign, and then now he doesn't really like Trump. He actually said in the podcast that he favors Hillary over Trump, or some shit. He said some weird. He said some weird shit about how, like, he actually, not that he wants Hillary to be in power or anything, but like, I don't
Think
know.
about what he's saying though, from what he's claiming, that Hillary literally is like a fucking adrenochrome drinking blood, you know, like a blood drinking fucking vampire or whatever. Like, for him to think that Hillary would be the better fucking.
I don't think that he meant president-wise.
I
I think he meant that he actually hates Trump more than Hillary. I think that's exactly what he said, that he hates Trump more than Hillary. I don't know.
So Rose actually did an interview with fucking Alex too, but he did mention Trump a little bit, but it was more on like.
And this is more recent too, huh?
Yeah, this was like a month ago, or I think it might have been last week.
I need to go.
But definitely send you that link. He was talking about how he was really supporting Trump, and he had nothing bad to say about Trump that whole podcast or that whole interview. I have nothing bad to say about Trump either, because, bro, when I go back and fucking look at what everyone would call like him being racist, or like having a burp, or like a fucking, you know, like a slip up, but like you can, you know, that can all be like attributed to something else. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that Trump is the savior of the free world and shit like that. No, I'm not, because when it comes to it, they're all on that fucking shit together, no matter what, you know, like, to be in, if we're gonna like, you know, speculate on it, then he has to be a part of the whatever that is, you know, because he can't. And if he's an infiltration, then they know about it, because how can we know about the fucking infiltration and
they not know?
The deep state not know about it? Like, come on now.
But you gotta also understand, at the same time, they have to put people in power that are against them for their whole little charade to even continue and be a thing. And like, as smart as we'd like to give them credit for, if there was a group of people smart enough to infiltrate and gain a certain amount of power, then at some point or another, like, power would have to secede to the stronger faction or the stronger body if they could infiltrate and create a new way of doing things.
But what if they were so smart that it's been planned out that they're creating their own opposition, just like how companies do it, and there wasn't ever an opposition to begin with, but we thought there was the whole time, you know?
Exactly. That's what I just said.
Oh.
Like that they are used to creating their own opposition. So to infiltrate, you'd have to, like, somehow infiltrate deeply enough to
like he'd have to pretty much not necessarily it'd be like a double infiltration almost.
Yeah, because it would have to be so well
Believable.
planned out. It would have to be like going in with the intention and never saying anything to anyone.
True.
Like if you flew across the country, went to a random city that you've never been in, and avoided every camera, killed a random person that you didn't know, hopped back on a plane, got rid of every single shred of evidence, and you like no one would ever be able to find anything that connected you to the person. If you were never on any CCTV or any camera, it would never find you.
Yeah.
It would have to be like that. You'd have to go in, infiltrate, not say shit to shit about anyone or anything, do what you were gonna do, and then boom.
Well, I hope Trump is that, you know, like, I mean, that would be...
I'm not saying Trump was that.
But I'm saying that, I mean, that would be ideal. That would be the best possible, you know, the best possible fucking outcome would be someone that smart that they can infiltrate. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if the solution is to infiltrate, bro. I think the solution would be to get the fuck
away.
yeah.
Stop participating.
That's more my style, bro. And which is like, some people would be like, that's just giving up your pussy, like... You're supposed to fucking... We're a one human race, you know? You're supposed to fuck... But if we all just stop participating together, that's one human race doing that shit, you know? It's a conscious decision. We're stronger than these people, you know? Because we have no numbers. It's always been about the numbers. That's what...
It's true.
The art of war is, bro. You know, it's about the numbers, like, and the strategy. So
but
it's
they
like...
actually... our numbers aren't as powerful as their infrastructure.
Now, exactly, because we got to build it up while we sit around watching TV and fucking eating
We would have to be very specialized. The people in our like breakaway faction would have to be able to create infrastructures to get food to millions of people, to get millions of people to do certain jobs, to get millions of people to
be at a certain physical strength to be able to fight and shit like that, you know, like that. All that matters.
We'd have to create our own government.
Army. Yeah, exactly.
Like the reason why each individual person can't rule and can't lead is because there has to be infrastructure. There literally
and
has
they
to
know
be.
it. That's the craziest part. Once you can control that, bro, you can do whatever, dude. No matter what scale it is, you know, if you're the CEO of a company, you are the person that decides like anything that's happening in that company, regardless of. Once you have all these employees, bro, like these employees are pretty much expendable to you, you know, like, and that sucks to say, you know, but it's like the reality of things.
You have the infrastructure, so you are the valuable person.
And have it all. Ascended masters are the people that have figured it out and are fucking just watching us, and they can't say shit because in their what the reality they created, it's impossible for them to say shit because they can't help us because of how they what they've learned. They've transcended, you know, good, evil, light, dark, up, left, down, right, everything that has to do with this realm. So our thought process is not in the realm of them being able to
tell us how to get from that to this.
Because this is them, you know, like, yeah, exactly.
Have you ever like had an experience like when you were younger, went through it, and then witnessed someone else going through the same thing, and you want to just tell them, hey, this is going to happen after that, and then you're going to feel a whole lot better. But like they're not even going to know what to do with that information because they haven't yet experienced what it was like to feel better from that occurrence, and they won't even have a place to put it. Or like when you're listening to a bunch of people speak a language you've never learned before, you'd have to learn all the words in the language to even hear the syllables that they're saying. Because until you learn the syllables that they're saying, it's all coming in one ear and out the other, and you don't even register. Like, if someone were to just spit off a sentence in Hebrew real fast, you might have heard it in that moment, but you can't spit back what the fuck that person said unless you knew what the syllables meant. It's all compartmental. Bro, it's fucking crazy.
Bro, you just blew my mind because it's like, I think about that shit all the time, bro. It's
you should just be able to hear it and then spit it back.
Dude, think about anytime you've been around, like, you know, someone that doesn't speak English and you're just speaking, like, you know exactly what the fuck you're saying, but they don't know anything you're saying, you know, but like it just doesn't make any
it doesn't make sense to you.
You can't you can't not understand what you're saying, you know. So it's like, holy fuck, I wonder what that sounded like to him, you know, like I wonder what that was.
They heard it, but it didn't register anywhere.
So what was you know, like I wonder what those sounded, you know, what those words sounded like. I want to hear what my voice sounded like without knowing English, you know, like it's like it's so
I want to hear what English would sound like to a person that doesn't understand English.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
But you can't because you know English.
And that goes into that whole thing you're talking about, the program.
But that's why it's like What would make more sense? Learning all the languages in the world or creating a language where the middleman is gone and, like, instead of having a word for what this is, we're just going to what this is. You know what I mean? Because that's how you learn a language anyway. Like, you have the person teaching you the language say the word while looking at the object rather than telling you what this object is in that language.
Bro, animals fucking can learn languages. Yeah, you're right. You know, it's all an interpretation of just for...
Exactly. if you look at this book long enough to a person and just be like, book, they're not going to translate, oh, book is this in my language. They're just going to be like, book. You know what I mean? And that's how people learn. That's why you learn a lot better when you're immersed in the person's culture. Because
exactly.
Then they start pointing at things and calling things, and you're like, oh, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
That's what you were telling me before. Remember when you were getting to, like, learning a little bit of Hebrew and stuff? It's like, it's almost better to not, like, like associate the actual English, you know, translation, because then you're always going to come back to the English translation when it's not an English translation. It's the word in fucking Hebrew or fucking wherever, you know?
It's like Elon Musk talking about how slow we are with our thumbs to his cell phone rather than just having the Neuralink and just going a terabyte per second. That's what it is. Because, like, the translation is making you take forever. The ability to progress is... or the ability to progress is limited by the slowness of the information transferring.
Jeez.
And that's why that fool is a fucking genius.
You know, it's crazy, too. Even in English, there's a whole nother language like those dudes were talking about, and, you know, like Graham Hancock and fucking, like, just the scientific terms and getting into, like, medical terms and even what Elon Musk talks about, bro.
Double speak in fucking secret societies where words have a whole different connotation.
Dude.
And, like, they give each other messages that only they would understand. Or, like, people come up with code words in, like, the FBI and the CIA where they say, honey tree bee 45 has landed in the coop. And that means that means that the enemy has been acquired and the target has been neutralized, but only to them.
So check this out. So to a person that doesn't even understand English, that doesn't even make sense. So that doesn't even make sense twice, you know, because, like, even if they decided to code it that still would be the code for something else.
Oh shit! And that's why if an alien were to come to the planet and start reading words, they would not understand how to, like, put shit into context, because you'd have to learn what the words meant and then learn what they meant in context in literally every story, or in enough stories to then be able to find the context in all the others. And that's why people have a really hard time learning languages, and that's why languages shouldn't be around. Maybe that's what the Tower of Babel is. They didn't all speak a language. There just wasn't language.
Well, there wasn't language, exactly.
There was some sort of better way of communicating where the middleman was cut out, and, like, expressions and how you felt, instead of creating a word in all these different cultures, it just was that thing. It just was that thing. Like, this microphone was just like, it is that.
Mm-hmm.
This. I don't even know what the word would have been.
There doesn't need to be words at that point.
And that's why writing things down doesn't make sense when your memory should be
strong.
Exactly.
But think about this, bro. You know how, like, everyone says, oh, we're all different, we're wired different. Some people have good memory, some people have da-da-da-da, but we're all part of the same fucking whole, you know? So it's like I know people that have, like, there's people that have photographic memory. Think about that, bro. A photographic memory, like, can literally just draw or, like, write anything that, like, they saw in that exact moment. I know I don't have that, but it's like, what's stopping me from having that, you know? Just my mindset. Like, it's almost like there's remnants of the past of how a whole human used to be in each individual person, you know? Like,
scattered.
Mm-hmm.
Different puzzle pieces that, if we're brought together and focused on, could create
would explain the old, or, like, the ultimate being of what we're ultimately supposed to. Or
so are we deteriorating, or are we compartmentalizing to get better at each of the specialties that the old humans used to have?
Or are we? Oh yeah, I'd go with the second one, like a compartmentalized, but it wouldn't be it would be less of a choice of a compartmentalized and more of a program, you know?
But, like, think about it. If ancient humans had a photographic memory, were really good at music, science, math, and all that, But because they were really good at all those things all at the same time, they never became like super fucking good at all of those things. So like a mathematician couldn't figure out many worlds because they were just really good at doing fucking algebra.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because like every human knew how to do algebra.
Yeah.
But like not one human was focused so much on math that they could figure out many worlds isn't even math, but like you know what I mean? Like
I wouldn't even say shit.
They can't figure out calculus because they're good at algebra and they're good at playing Beethoven and they're good at playing fucking Freebird on the guitar, but they can't do the fucking Jimi Hendrix solo on the Watchtower.
Yeah,
you know
because
what I mean?
that's a specific task tending to that, like, that literal
exactly.
realm of,
you have to be a fucking pro at guitar.
But that's what the mindset of what we have, you know, like, of how we operate today, you know, thinking that you have to be
back at that, yeah.
You have to be to be a master at something you have to focus on one thing when they could have been masters at everything and they could be thinking in a way that
just absorbing the information and seeing how it connects to the next subject all at once. Whoa, what if that's what they did when they taught each other? They just taught each other, like every time they learned something new, they figured out how it was connected to the last thing that they learned, even if it didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, shit.
What if that's how we were taught from birth, bro?
Well, isn't that kind of like what philosophy and like that type of shit is, you know, like kind of speculating on things and like making things fit like into like a realm
like
where
patterns and shit.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, bro, that's like definitely like I feel like I'm trying to be on that type of shit, bro, like where I don't really want to argue or like say that you're wrong about this or that you're crazy for thinking this way. I want to believe or at least be able to like, you know, vibe with whatever anything anyone says, but I'm still like a human being, you know, and I'm still trying to get over certain things that like it's so weird how deeply rooted some things just are inside of us, you know, and is it like am I fighting my human, you know, like sometimes I'd be like, am I fighting like my human instinct to do like what I am as a human because I want to be so spiritual or whatever and I want to like vibe with everyone and like should I just not fight some of my human like, you know, like tendencies and actually like
yes, I've had that same thought,
you know,
yeah,
it's so weird to think about like why am I fighting,
like am I limiting my own progress by doing this? I'm going against like what I would feel like I should be doing. But why do I feel like I should be doing that? Exactly. Is that a thought that someone else put there? Is that a thought that is there to help me? Is that like what is that?
Yeah, that was the inside of the savvy mind right there and yoga mat mind right there, bro. That's literally like, you know, the core of how I think most of the time. It's like, yeah, I love now that I do get on, you know, I'll get on my grind and shit, push-ups and shit. It's like, hell yeah, I feel way better. But like the old me was like, you know, like why would I ever want to do anything like that? So like that was my mindset, you know, and it was like a.
And isn't it weird how that those two people can live in you at the same time?
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So I know there's more people or whatever. You know, there's more opportunities inside of me that I just haven't unlocked yet, dude. And it's just like,
bro,
yeah.
You gotta look at your year, your month, your week, your day,
but never regret it, bro. Learn from it, literally, bro. That's what we get from every single episode, bro. Sheesh,
bro. 21, bro. Episode 21.
Goddamn.
Love y'all.